United States, Texas, 8 years ago. From the outside, the house looked ordinary. White walls, a small front porch, a swing set in the backyard. Neighbors passed by every day without ever suspecting something deeply wrong lived behind those doors. Michael Turner was known as a quiet man. He worked long shifts, paid his bill on time, and rarely caused trouble. His wife, Laura, trusted him completely. They had been married for 7 years and shared a 6-year-old daughter named Emily. To Laura, Michael was a responsible father. To Emily, he was simply dad. And to the world, nothing seemed out of place. But when the front door closed and Laura left for work, the silence inside the house became heavy. Laura worked as a nurse, often covering double shifts. On those days, Michael stayed home with Emily. He told his wife it helped save money on childcare. Laura believed him. She had no reason not to. Emily was a quiet child. She loved drawing and spent hours alone in her room. Over the time, she became even quieter. She stopped playing outside. She started flinching when adults raised their voices. Sometimes she cried at night without explaining why. Laura noticed the changes, but like many parents, she explained them away. She's just growing, she told herself. Maybe school is stressing her. Michael always had answers. She's sensitive. She's imagined things. She just wants attention. And Laura trusted him because trusting him felt easier than imagining something darker. There were signs. Emily avoided being alone with her father. She clung to her mother when it was time for Laura to leave. She began having nightmares and bedwetting episodes that doctor couldn't fully explain. At school, teachers noticed Emily withdrawing from other children. She stopped participating in class. Once, when asked to draw her family, she scrambled over the figure labeled Daddy until the paper tore. The teacher made a note but didn't push further. Everyone saw pieces of the truth. No one put them together. As the year passed, the secret followed Emily like a shadow. By the time she was 10, she had learned how to pretend. She smiled when needed. She spoke when spoken to. She learned that silence kept the peace. Michael continued living his normal life. Laura continued trusting her husband. Emily carried a burden no child should ever carry. The house remained quiet. Too quiet. 8 years ago became 7, 10, then 5, then 3. Emily turned 14. One afternoon at school, a counselor noted scars, not physical ones, but emotional ones. During a routine conversation, Emily froze when asked about home. Her hands trembled, her voice disappeared. The counselor didn't force her to speak. Instead, she said something simple. "You are safe here." That sentence broke the silence. Emily didn't give details. She didn't need to. What she shared was enough for the counselor to follow the protocol. Within hours, Child Protective Services were involved. Investigators spoke carefully, respectfully, and patiently. Emily was placed in a safe environment, professional trained to handle trauma, listening without judgment. When Laura was informed, her world collapsed. She denied it at first. Then she cried. Then she remembered every moment she had ignored. The guilt nearly destroyed her. Michael, when questioned, denied everything. Calm, confident, controlled. He believed silence had protected him before. This time, it didn't. Evidence didn't come from the graphic details. It came from patterns, expert evaluations, and years of documented behavioral changes. The truth no longer lived in the dark. The trial shook the community. People who once waved at Michael now avoided his name. Laura sat in court listening to a reality she never wanted to accept. Emily did not testify publicly. Her voice was protected. Her well-being came first. Michael was found guilty. When the sentence was read, the courtroom felt silent, not out of shock, but out of sorrow for the years that could never be returned. Michael went to prison, but punishment did not erase the damage. Emily began therapy. Some days were harder than others. Healing was slow, uneven, and painful, but it was real. Laura dedicated her life to advocacy. She spoke to parents, schools, and community above warning signs, about listening, about believing children. Emily learned something powerful. What happened to her did not define her future. This story is not about fear. It is about awareness. Most harm doesn't come from strangers. It comes from silence, from trust misplaced, from signs ignored. If a child changes suddenly, if fears appears without explanation, if silence feels too heavy, listen, because sometimes one voice breaking the silence can save a life.